And a good afternoon, everybody. Welcome aboard once again to Radio Russell podcast here. And we are going to be speaking on price gouging and other lunacies that are going on because of the coronavirus, or the BS name of COVID-19. I guess everybody's pretty worn out about all of this. Question is what are you doing about it? The sheep mentality that comes with a disaster or an emergency come in two folds. And a lot of people understand this, and they see it every day when it happens. You have the fear mongering, and the world is coming to the end. Disaster people, the media, and they don't hold bars. They don't hold back at all. Anything to get you to watch their show, listen to the show, doesn't matter if it's true or if it's not true. And that, what I call, is fear gouging. Price gouging, on the other hand, is what happens when stores have the ability to charge whatever they want to charge because people are hysterically stupid. I just, I can't figure out the toilet paper deal. What does, let's just say you have to quarantine in place for 2 weeks. Do you go through that much toilet paper? Are you kidding me, to fight over it? Has your bowel movements changed? Have they got worse because of the virus? And it's all fuel fed by the media. They are absolutely crazy. And it doesn't matter what the disaster is. They do not care about the general public. They really do not care. You can tell that on every press conference that they have, because they want to blame somebody. They want to find the horde in it. They want to find the people that die and puking in the streets. And you can see it at every press conference they do. Point the finger. Oh, whose fault is it? It's your fault. This fault, that fault. Not one of them are trying to even help. Even the doctors that they put on the air give it a horrendous, well, everybody cares, but you got to be safe. You can't be 6 feet near somebody. You can't do this. You can't do that. This is one of the worst viruses around. It is so contagious. Well, fear is worse contagion. Price gouging is worse contagion. So people aren't even following any of that. All I know is, why do governments do that? Here's something else that's really interesting. You gotta check this out also. They are going to try to pass a tax relief where they're not going to charge you taxes on your paycheck or whatever, which is cool. Everybody's going to like that. Hey, I get more in my check. Hey, I can spend it a little bit more. Unless it's being price gouged, and then it goes to the people that are price gouging, which you are stupid enough to pay the money. And when this is all over with, you're going to have $10 rolls of toilet paper sitting in your closet that you're going to be wiping your ass with. So you might as well just take that $10 bill and use it. It's better. But they don't have an answer for this. They don't want to admit that it's worse than what they say, or Latin, not as bad as they say it is. They have spent a lot of money, and more money is coming now. Now that it's a national emergency, now everybody's on the boat. Everybody's going to get sick. Now they're going to have test kits out there. And because they have the test kits out there and people are going to be tested, the case level is going to go through the roof, and they're going to scare the living crap out of everybody. Then they're going to institute martial law, force everybody to stay in their house and not go to work, and the whole economy is going to collapse because of it. And then we're all going to be in a real riot. So, people, you survivalists, you preppers, get ready, baby, because people are going to be coming to your house because you are ready for all this. It's the idiots that are buying tons of toilet paper now that are going to be the ones freaking out. Now there's a stupid rumor that, South Korea, or was it Hong Kong, or one of those places, is going to be paying their people $1,200 a month to stay inside. Are you kidding me? Will you people stop? I mean, good Lord. This world has gone absolutely nuts. Me, I'm in the proverbial case, age range and health wise, that if I get it, I'm in serious danger. And I could give two hoots about that. And I do mean give two hoots. And the reason why is because I'm not going to get it. And if I do get it, I'm going to take NyQuil and cure it. Oh my God, you can't say that. That's not going to be right. Yes, I can say that. It's called the First Amendment, free speech. I'm not saying that you have it and this is the diagnosis and here is my prescription for a cure. That's practicing medicine without a license. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my NyQuil and I'll be cured and you can go to hell. I don't know. I get so furious. Sporting events all closed. What gives with the closing of the sporting events? Think about that. Why would they close sporting events? People don't realize, actually, the owners and the players are going to realize their games don't exist unless there's fans. Because they will be the worst games ever played. And the reason why is they get their energy from the fan. Hoarding, yeah. Hoarding toilet paper and sanitizer and soap is going to save them from this world disaster. Cracks me up. Every time they get on the media, they talk about, well, to be safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face. Those are some of the main ones. And every one of them on the news touches their face. Even the Surgeon General did. He was on there during that press conference with Trump, and he scratches his nose. And I went, dude, you're not following your own rules. Get serious. But there again, people don't listen to things that are going on. They want to believe everything that is told to them. And don't get me wrong, when I thought they were going to close the country down, everybody stay home. Everyone's hoping, oh, I'm going to have a vacation. Oh my God, we're going to get some time off. Company doesn't have to pay you for that time off. I mean, they're saying, well, yeah, you're going to have paid time off and sick leave and all this kind of stuff. Well, who's going to pay that? The company doesn't want to pay that. There's going to be money out their ass. Is the government going to pay you? Well, where's the government going to get the money? They just stopped all the taxes so they could collect it. People, don't be stupid. Don't be sheep. How can anybody ever believe what's in the media nowadays? After all the BS that they have filled this world with, and I do mean the world. Now they're trying to blame Europe for the virus and not China. China's trying to blame the U.S. military on the virus, that they brought it to China and gave it to the Chinese. These people are using propaganda day in and day out just to convince you that you're stupid. How can people actually follow this stuff? I just don't know. Why do people want to follow this stuff? I don't know. All I know is the world is going to go to hell in a handbasket. And they're calling for 10 weeks now. And because they're calling for 10 weeks, it gives them a chance of 10 weeks to screw things up even more. Then they come out with a new reason why this is happening, or reason why that's happening, or this or that. You name it, who knows? The virus is unbelievably making people price gouge for toilet paper. $10 a roll? Give me a break. Wipe your own ass with it. Come on. That's the main thing you got to do with it. Anytime you've got this kind of BS going around the world like it is, making people go absolutely crazy, it's fear-mongering. You're listening to the news. You shouldn't do that because they push this issue, because they want to get their pound of flesh out of the news, their fear. Anytime I was watching it the other day, and they're talking about, oh my God, so they had this one congressman on, and he's going, look at it, it's not that bad. Just use a little common sense. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. You know, if you think you got a cold, stay home, get better. Take NyQuil. Well, he didn't say take NyQuil. I said that. But the news anchor reporter that was interviewing him said, oh, no, you can't say that, man. We've got deaths all over the place. The world is dying. People are shooting each other and rioting on the streets. So I'm exaggerating a little bit. But that was the angle. They were shutting them down, and pushing their narration every time. I'm so tired. I can't watch the news anymore or listen to it because the BS is getting so thick. So if you look at it, they just got their $8.3 or $8.6 billion, and they're already starting to ask for more. And what are they going to use this for? Who's going to follow up with these people and say, what are you spending this money on? And there's been rumors starting to pop up that there's some university in Washington that's already got a good foundation of a cure, a vaccine for it already. And the word is CDC said, nope, we can't use that. That's not good. It's not been tested, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So they shut them down. Now, that's the word. I don't know. It's one of the rumors that are flying around if you want to believe that kind of stuff. Or you want to believe that it's just a regular flu. And they're saying, well, look how contagious it is. Well, what do you mean by contagious? If it's that contagious, let's just really get realistic on this. If the coronavirus, I'm going to call it the Hunan virus because they say that's racist. So I guess I'm a racist. Hunan virus. You're, if you have it, that means you're contagious. So why are you in a car pulling up to a car testing site where they can take your temperature to see if you're contagious or not? What is that all about? You're driving around in your car, pulling into a drive-through, saying, "Hey, okay, take my temperature. All right, I'm contagious. Now what are you going to do? You're going to take my car away? You're going to shove me in some kind of a quarantine somewhere? You're going to force me to quarantine for 2 weeks by myself?" And the government says, "Oh, I'm going to give this to you." No, you're not. You're not going to get shit. Excuse my language. It's just gone so off the deep end. Now you're seeing people in these huge bubble outfits to protect them from the Hunan virus. Ooh, you know. And at first time, it was like, okay, man, we got a mask on, we got, the medical scrubs and stuff. Well, that's what they were wearing there. Now that money's coming in, and the news is on every news station interviewing every hospital. And if they show a hospital with a person with just a surgical mask on, oh, that's not right. They've got to be in full gear now. It's a show. I do believe this is a show, just to make ratings for the news and stuff. I mean, did you see that news conference with Trump? The main question they wanted was, "Oh, did you get tested? Are you tested? Why don't you have tested?" And the reason why the left and the idiot Democrats want that question answered, because Trump is 72, 73 years old, and that's the age range of the proverbial people that die. So if he gets it, now it's going to be, "Oh my God, you're going to die now. Ooh, the president's going to die. Ooh, ooh." And that's what they're hoping on. They don't want they totally politicized this whole thing. I mean, come on, people. Dig into what the media is telling you. How can it be that bad? All of a sudden it's everywhere. It can't. I'm sorry. The only thing that spreads that fast is fear. Fear is the one that's instituting everything. The media gets on there, they're scaring the living crap out of everybody. And yes, you're right. They are going to get capitalized on it all. That they have to. That's how they make their ratings. That's how they make their money. It was so funny, and I cracked up over it because I was watching the news conference, and I said, "Oh wow, well you're supposed to keep 3 feet between each other, or 6 feet, or whatever they're asking for." And I'm watching the news organizations. They're all crammed into that one little spot, asking them the stupidest questions in the world. Maybe that's how President Trump is going to get rid of the idiot news anchors. Maybe they'll get all the virus and die. That's what they want. It's crazy. Why do people do this? Why are you buying $10 rolls of toilet paper? Why? Why are you wiping these shelves out of Purell? And everyone's going, "Oh my God, the big bad corporations are price gouging." Well, no, actually, I hate to tell you this, Purell is a privately owned company. So nobody's making money off of that except the owners. There you go. And what are you going to do? You're going to hand their money to them. And the thing is, and I keep telling people this over and over and over again, when you buy into the fear that they're doing, you're going to end up shitting yourself when you find out it's not as bad as it is. When it's over with, you're going to have all this high expensive toilet paper sitting on your shelf. Going to take you a year to get rid of it all, just wiping your butt with all this. And every time you wipe your butt, you're going to think to yourself, Hunan virus, Hunan virus. Maybe that's what it is. The Hunan virus is the first stages of catching hemorrhoids from wiping your butt too much with their toilet paper. Who knows? I don't know. It's just unbelievable. It's just The mind numbingness and the doctors that they put on the press too drive me nuts. They are scaring the people as much as they are because they don't know an answer to none of the questions. They sidestep it, they jump up and down, and they said, well, make sure you put, hand sanitizer on it. Well, there goes the price gouging again on that. Okay, I'm here in Vegas. I go into a casino on a regular basis. That's my vice. I like to gamble. What the heck? I've been going in every weekend for years, playing my games, machines, and everything. Everything was normal. I went in the last weekend, this weekend and the last weekend. Never in my lifetime have I seen so many hand sanitizers every 3 feet on the wall. And I am going, are you nuts? And people are using them. They're walking down there. It's just like a frenzy. They're pumping. And if you're that afraid of catching the virus, what the hell are you doing in a casino in the first place? It's crazy. Oh, just to let you know, no, I don't think it'll help with Biden. Biden's trying to play this up big time here. But Trump's going to get reelected. I don't want to get into the political side of it, but because of this, his approval rating has gone up a couple of points since the virus started, and the Democrats are hating that also. Now, talk about what's going to be hilarious. This is going to be great. I believe it's next Thursday or Tuesday when Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are going to do their debate. There's not going to be an audience there. Think about this, folks. There's not going to be an audience. So you're going to have the moderators and two of the old white guys. Thank you, Sunday. It's going to be Sunday. That's tomorrow. That's right. It's going to be, get your popcorn out, man. Get your popcorn and your beers and sit down. This is going to be entertaining because there's going to be nobody in the room. You're going to have these two old white guys, which the left hate old white guys, old rich white guys. And they're going to be arguing with each other. It's going to be such a great thing because all they're going, oh man, I can't wait. It's going to be one for the books. It will definitely be one for the books. And that goes right along with what I was telling people earlier about the sporting events. The sporting events that go through what's going on with no audiences and everything else, the players will not play to their game. They will probably use second and third string players to play the games because the energy those players feed off of is their fans. Their fans are a huge part of it. And they're not going to be there. It's going to be like a practice. And the energy won't be there. You'll watch it on TV. Yeah, but the TV spans shoots the fans all dressed up with signs and hooting and hollering against and for. That makes part of the game. That's part of the environment. And I heard, now I don't know if it's true, UFC told the rest of them to go jump off a cliff. If you want to go watch a UFC fighting game or fighting, the octagon, they're going to let people come as much as they want, and they'll have it live on TV or whatever. And the man that owns the UFC organization is a genius. He's going to be rich because people are not going to stop going out. I'm sorry. You will get the fear mongering or the fear in the back of their heads and stuff, but people are still going to go out. You see it right now. You're not going to stop it. I mean, what was it over in, was it Italy? Yeah, I think it was Italy. The one guy stepped out on the street and took a picture of the empty street, and presumably the police caught him, fined him, and forced him back into his house because he didn't have the proper papers to be out in the street under quarantine. Do you people want that to happen here in the United States? That's what's going to happen if you follow suit with all this. If you really want that time off from going to work and working at home, well, look at it. They're going to close the schools. Well, a bunch of states have closed the schools. So the parents of those kids have to take the time off to be with their kids because they're home and they can't go to work for it. So they're going to allow that. This this is nuts. This is absolutely crazy. People shouldn't be such sheep. Now, be careful. I'm not saying the virus isn't real, but I am saying I don't believe it's spreading the way the news media is saying it spreads. They touted that one guy that died in New York, I think it was, and they said, "Oh, he's got the virus. Oh man, oh my God, he's got the coronavirus, the Hunan virus, and he passed away." Then the next day they said, "Well, he tested positive for it, but he died of a heart attack." And then they left the story right there. But the day before, it was front news, person dies of the virus, blah, 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 blah. And it was all a lie. That's what the media is doing. That's what the media needs to stop doing. I mean, I love the news. I love finding out what's going on around the world. But 24/7 of BS on the coronavirus, I'm sorry, there's got to be other things happening in this world than that. They didn't even report when that Ohio students rioted because they closed the class down. Nobody brought it to the news. It was a little side note on the AP press. They actually brought the cops out with riot gear. There was, thousands of kids in the street, students, because the university said you can't go to school or your classes are closed because of the virus. And they got mad and they started rioting. What do these people want? Those are the Bernie people. Socialism right there. You got to do what the socialists tell you to do. If they say go to class, you got to go to class. If they tell you to stay home, you got to stay home. And, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting on a rant or a rave, but I'm so tired of the idiocy that's going on. I went shopping the other day over at Costco's, and the shelves were bare. People were hoarding all kinds of stuff. And I've been through 3 natural disasters in my lifetime: earthquake, flood, and the hurricane. To prep for that, to be a prepper, where you get your water and your food for survival for a couple of days or a week or whatever, prepared ahead of time, that's understandable. But you have to look at it this way: the ability to acquire those items are gone. The buildings are destroyed. The infrastructure of streets, power, lights, all are destroyed, and they have to bring it back. So you survive until they get back things ordered again. This virus is not going to destroy anything. Those stores will still be standing. The shelves will still have stuff on it. The water will still work. You can drink out of your tap water if you have to. They were like, well, not in my city. Well, the only city you can't really drink out of is Detroit, because you have the Democrats ruining that water up there too. That's a whole nother ball game story itself. So, folks, all I know is you just have to use a little common sense out there. If you're afraid of catching the virus and dying, that's a legitimate fear. It really is. And that fear is going to control you in whatever you do. So I would suggest, if you're that fearful of it, don't go around other people and spread your fear. Because there's people out there using their common sense, trying to do it right and trying to be helpful for their neighbors and stuff. But if you're one of those fear mongering fanatics that bounce off the walls anytime something happens, stay home. Stop it. You know, buy your 10 tons of toilet paper and wipe your butt when it's all over with your $20 roll of toilet paper. So, I still can't figure that out, people. They're price gouging like no end on toilet paper. Price of toilet paper is going right through the roof. Okay. And people are still buying it. And I've gone over this a couple of times. That's perfectly fine. But it's like, dude, you wipe your ass with it, okay? Just remember, toilet paper wasn't around, only been around for what, 50, 60, 70 years, 100 years? Let's just say 100 years. The rest of the time, they use corn husks. Think about that. If you don't believe me, look it up. Corn husks. They would take the corn on the cob after it was eaten, they'd boil them and soften them up and use that to wipe their ass with, or leaves, or whatever else they could find, or their hand, and then they wash their hands afterwards. There's countries in this world that still wipe their ass with their hand. Hence, the reason why, you ready for this? In certain countries, they cut your left hand off if you rob somebody. The reason why they do that is because you're supposed to wipe with your left hand and eat with your right hand. So if they cut your left hand off, you have to eat and wipe with your right hand. Think about that, people. Come on, let's get serious. If you really want to know what history and where toilet paper came from, when the Sears catalog, Sears and Roebuck would come once a month. When that came out, everybody would grab it, they'd read it. When it was done, they would take the Sears and Roebuck catalog to the outhouse. And that's where it hung, and that's how they wiped their butt, was the pages of the Sears and Roebuck catalog. Until they started using glossy paper, which wouldn't absorb anymore, and it didn't work. And then somebody finally came up and developed toilet paper, tissue sheets or whatever, But that's pretty hilarious itself. But come on, people. I can't beg you enough. I've gone to so extremes to, people are calling me all kinds of names because I'm telling them I believe the coronavirus is a real virus, and I could care less if it was started by the Chinese government or the U.S. government or the Russian government, or if it was caused by somebody eating a bat or whatever. I don't believe that it's as bad as it is for being infectious. Because when you have them changing their story so drastically all the time, first they said, well, you can't touch somebody. Then they said, well, maybe you shouldn't sneeze on somebody. Then they said, well, don't touch your face or wipe your face or shake hands. Then they went, oh, yeah, that's right. It'll stay on plastic for 3 hours or 2 days. Excuse me. I get hyperventilated when I get stories stuck in my craw that just irritate the living daylights out of me. So now they got all these things that it'll last forever on. I'm thinking to myself, they know everything about this, how it spreads, where it goes, what it does, how long it stays on there. People are not dying. 80,000 people have been cured of it. And, what is it? 3,000 have died or something like 26,000, something like that. I don't know exactly the number. I really don't care, to be honest with you. I was looking on the internet on one of the news reports here, and at a glance, I can't see the numbers. But who cares? Okay, it's not that I'm cold-hearted and people are dying from it. No, that's not what it is. People die every day. 45,000 people a year die in car accidents. Right now, we're sitting at 26, what is it? 26,000 people have died of pneumonia this year in the United States. And they go, oh, it's not the same thing. Well, yes, it is. It's all part of the same family. And that's why that one university in Washington said they have a good foundation vaccine that'll work. And that's why they don't want it. This is a money-making machine now. Okay? So the Democrats see it, and they want to use it against Trump to get him out of office, hoping that he'll die. These people are absolutely morbid. And think about this, if they're so worried about Trump having the virus and they want him to take the test, do you realize if it spreads as bad or as fast as they say it is, that means everybody that came in contact with Trump has come in contact with everybody in the Congress and the Senate. So damn it, every one of them should quarantine themselves because everybody's infected. But you don't see them. You don't see Nancy or Chucky Baby say, oh, I'm going to take the test and I'm positive or negative. No. Even Ted Cruz, which I think is a nice guy, but he was an idiot for saying, I'm going to self-quarantine just to be safe. Get out of my face. You're making $200,000 a year without all the lobbyists giving you money. You can self-quarantine anytime you want to because we're paying for it. You got hardworking people out in this country that needs to get to work. When you're taking it to work, there's an issue. But you don't even know if you have it or not. That's what's scaring people. That's what the news is feeding it with. It takes a week before you even see any symptoms, and you could be spreading it with everybody. I see it now when I'm out in the streets. People are like, walking around and looking at each other like, ooh, they're starting to call it the zombie virus because people are walking around looking like a zombie, like they're dead to the world. I hate the doom and gloom, but I'm also a prepper. So what does that mean? That means I'm ready for just about anything that comes down the pike. So if you're going to come in a biosuit to my house, be prepared to be repelled. And I guess there's a lot of people out there doing the exact same thing. Because I'm so sick and tired of, and it's the states' government. The states are begging the federal to do something. And the states, look at de Blasio. What a stupid idiot this guy is. People don't realize that town in New York, Rochelle, New York, where he took the National Guard and surrounded it to help the people and keep it in isolation. People don't realize that's martial law. That's using the government, the military, to control the population. That, my friend, is why we have the Second Amendment. Is to have a militia to stand against an oppressive government of its own or foreign. And the rights to own and bear arms shall not be infringed. For that very reason. That's why they put it there. That's why it's the Second Amendment. First Amendment is there to say your piece without being beat up by the government. Second Amendment is to protect the First Amendment and to protect your home and your family. Think about that. Protect your home and family. That should be your first priority. Why are you allowing the government to tell you what to do? They're going to have this page, and this is going to be unbelievable. First off, it's going to do one of two things. This Google website that they're making or built, I haven't even looked at it. If it's there, I don't even know what the website is. but they advertise it or talk about it on TV, where you can go on there and they'll ask you a bunch of questions to see if you have the symptoms. Okay, well, all your hypochondriacs are going to have the symptoms no matter what. So they go down through and categorize all this information. Then they're going to tell you where is the closest drive-through testing facility. So you'll get in your car and drive through, and you'll wait in these long lines so somebody can stick a thermometer on your forehead and tell you, yep, you got it. Or if they have the test, they'll stick a swab up your nose and go, yep, you got it. Or nope, you don't got it. And think about what that's going to do. It's bad enough that they're trying to control the population and the way we live our lives right now with this. But to go onto that website, they're going to ask every personal question that you want. Your name, your address, your social security number, how much money you make, where you work, what you do, what's your lifestyle, do you have any pre-existing conditions, do you have all this information? What a beautiful way to make a new database. Absolutely. What a beautiful way to do the census, which I just got in the mail, the new census. So people are going to be more apt to answer these questions now in fear of their own thing. Just to let you know, if you don't want to really know where I'm coming from, my book that I have is called Fear Profits You Nothing by Russell Mays. Look it up on Amazon. It's Fear Profits You Nothing by Russell Mays. And it's very true. If you're fearful, it's not going to profit you anything. It's already been proven in the price gouging. That price gouging virus is exactly what that is. It's not going to profit you anything by paying the higher prices to the price gougers. And that's what fear is doing. So remember it. Look it up. Fear profits you nothing. I'll tell you most of the fears that people have in life nowadays. Why are you afraid? Why do the system want to make you afraid? If you think about the great people that went across this country to develop their farms, their freedom and stuff, and the reason why they did that is because the government needed to expand and they didn't want to do it, so they gave the land away for free. And since the poor and the downtrodden couldn't afford the property or the land near the cities, they took this property and hacked it out of the wilderness themselves with all the dangers and everything else. But they weren't afraid. Sure, I'm sure they were afraid, but they sucked it up and went and did it. And now we have the United States of America that you have the weasel Democrats trying to destroy by putting Bernie Sanders in there. Well, they actually don't want Bernie Sanders in there yet. But mark my words, folks, this is one thing that's interesting. Even though Bernie Sanders isn't going to get into the nomination this time around because they will take it away from him. And the thing about it is in another 20 to 30 years, those students that are behind Bernie now will be in power positions in the future. Because if they're 20 years old now, you have to be 35 to run for president. Okay? So in 15 years, the Democrats are going, everything's going to be going socialism, and they're going to be the power voters then. People in my lifetime, I'm 62, so you figure in 20 years, I'm going to be 82. I'll be kicking it then. So the conservatives and the people that really care about this country will be fading away. And only the socialists and the communists with a mindset that they've been taught will be the ones left to run the country. And your children will be the enslavement of that organization. They talk about climate change and, ooh, we're destroying the planet because of climate change. No, we're not. The planet is being destroyed. Well, first off, the planet can't be destroyed by man. The planet could care less what we do. The planet's going to go on and do its own thing. But society that gives the ability to develop a citizenry of greatness with wealth beyond anybody's dream. Let's face it, some of our poorest in this country are wealthy compared to other countries. Even the homeless that's living in the streets have more than some of the other people. And they're the ones getting the drugs and the ones sleeping in the streets. And they all have tents of some type. That's a better housing than some of these people have. But that doesn't matter. But what does matter is how the socialists and the people that hate this country always say, well, look at that country and what they're doing. We should do it like them. Well, do you want to be poor like them too? That's fine. I don't know. Your folks' opinion and viewpoints are very important to me also. I do thank you very much for giving me a viewpoint or two. As there's any questions you want to ask me, I'll try to answer them. If not, I'll keep rambling on and talking about the stupidity of price gouging on toilet paper and Purell and wiping the shelves clean. And you're not going to have the spoilage because if they shut everything down, you're not going to have electricity anyway, and all that meat's going to go spoiled anyway. So there you go. So, but it's absolutely asinine. Please, for the sake of your neighbors and your friends and family, use your head. Don't go ballistic. Don't be fear mongering. And it's even over at work. I've never seen so many people that buy into this over at work. It's like, why do you do that? You know, if you walk into work with a cold, everybody tells you to go home and don't spread the cold around. That's normal common sense. But now, the ones that are fearful of the coronavirus come in and they're literally petrified to touch anybody. Why would you allow a news media and our government to put that kind of fear into you? Why would you allow the news media and the government to make you, and I don't mean forcefully, I mean to brainwash, manipulate you into spending huge amount of cash money to buy products that don't cost that much? Why do people do this? I mean, there was a study a long time ago that said that roughly 25% of the population is stupid. My question is, after seeing what goes on, not only with the coronavirus and the rest of the stuff that's been going on for the last 3 or 4 years, I believe it. I absolutely believe it. The only real problem is the stupid 25% have the microphone of insanity. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to keep that one too. The microphone of insanity. That's what the news organizations are. The left crazies have the microphone of insanity. But hey, I really would love to have you guys check out the book, though. Fear Profits You Nothing. And you're going to find out that everything falls in. I wrote the thing, a few years ago, but it still is true today. Why people fear for doing things. Why do you lay your money down because somebody said if you don't do that, you're going to die? But when did somebody say you're going to die because of wiping your ass with toilet paper? And now they're saying that the oil prices are going to drop. Well, great. Oil prices are going to drop. Everyone's going, oh, that's bad, that's bad. Wait a minute. You guys have been complaining about the oil. Now we're self-sufficient. And Russia and the Middle East and China and the rest of them are trying to get their pricing structure back again because it's hurting them. Well, they shouldn't try to hold their abilities over the United States. That's why I think it's great. We're trying to open up a different market. And India and Germany, I think it is, to start producing some of our medicines and our electronics and other stuff that we need. We have to have a secondary vertical market for supplies. Everything you get comes from China, and China's using that against us now, using it against the world. So if they shut down, no, the world's not going to get their stuff. Well, why did we do that? Because you have the idiots that are, well, I'm a greedy puppy dog. You know, if I can make the money, I'm going to make the money. And that's basically what had happened with all these manufacturers. They drove the prices of the companies out of this country over to another country so the prices will be low. All they have to do is pay the tariffs to come back in. That was what the problem was. The tariffs that were being paid on China, they were making all the money, and we were allowing them to bring back in, and we weren't making any money off their products. So by setting the tariffs on an even playing field, it's more sense for the companies to keep it here because they don't have to pay for all that shipping and all that extra logistics. That's why the factories came back. It's because of the tariffs and, of course, some tax breaks too. And the companies love it. And look at this. We're at 3.6% unemployment. That is immensely incredible. That means the people need other people to do their jobs. They have to have people to fill these positions, and they're having problems because it's a prosperous country. Even with the virus out there, is not affecting it that bad. The stock market's going crazy, but then again, people don't realize it's right about where it was when Trump took over. So they're just holding their money right now until this blows over. That's all it is. The stock market is going to go roaring right back to where it was after all this BS is done. And if you're into the market at all, now's the time to buy. Buy all you can while it's low. Because when it comes back and it's going to jump back up to, what it was at 21 when I saw it last, it'll go up 9,000 points. So that means, in a sense, don't quote me on my math. So if you buy a stock for $1 and it goes up 9,000 points, that means you've just made $9 on your $1 investment. Think about that, people. Now's the time to get into the market. And don't let the fear, and they do that too. Oh my God, the market's dropping. It's really bad. Oh, don't do it. Wait until it starts going up. Well, when it's going up, that means all the people that are making the money have bought into it already. That's why it's going up, is people are buying into it. When it goes up, then you're making money. Get in low. Like they say, get in low, sell high. But when it's down low, that's when all the fear comes in. Don't do it. The market's bad. Ooh, it's dropping. Oh, you can't do that. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Folks, I rambled too much today. I do appreciate everybody joining me. It's been a real pleasure. It is Saturday evening here. Don't buy into the price gouging. Please be normal. If you need a roll of toilet paper, go buy a roll of toilet paper. Don't buy 40 tons of it and then take it all so your next door. That right there is a big issue too. If you're buying every stock, and piece of toilet paper on that shelf, and you're not going to allow your neighbor to have a package of toilet paper, you're an asshole. You're a selfish piece of crap. And that's the way it is with the rest of the products that you guys are price gouging with and hoarding on there. You're buying 40 tons of this stuff, and your next neighbor is coming along saying, ooh, and you want to know something? They don't realize it, but all the grocery stores are restocking their shelves as fast as they're emptied. That means the product is there. So you don't have to go frenzied over it. The product is there. They just got to put it on the shelf that night and be there the next day. But oh no, and I'm going to tell you, if you hate big corporations, they love you because they know you're going to be right in there the next day to clean them right out again. They are laughing all the way to the bank. And you want to know something? They're not even wearing plastic gloves or a mask while they're at the bank teller cashing your money, saying, thank you very much for buying all that toilet paper. Guess what? I have another truck sitting outside, and I'll restack that shelf again. So make sure you come back the next day. That every grocery store that way. I mean, the Smiths out here even said it. They go, yeah, they're wiping our shelves out, but that's okay. We have the trucks waiting outside to refill them tonight. Are you people that dumb? They can't. People can't be. I keep telling myself they can't be that dumb, but yes, I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes of the stupidity. It's like, why? Why are you doing this? Why don't you just go out back and hook up your tractor trailer truck and get the whole load and go for it and pay for it? Take it home and let it sit in your yard, 40 tons of toilet paper in your backyard. That'll be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? I mean, come on, people. Use your head. Use what God given you, a brain. But there's nothing like mob madness. It's the reason why way back when you have the mob hanging people for the sake of hanging them, or mobs killing people. That's why when they riot in streets with this Antifa, the stupidity, they won't arrest them because it's hard to convict a mob violence, if you will. Too many people are involved. So, what are we going to do? Put a smile on? Make sure you get a lot of popcorn. You might want to buy some popcorn for tomorrow night's debate. It's going to be great. Make sure you get a couple of beers. Hey, I know, maybe you ought to pick up some Coronas. That'll be a good beer. A friend of mine said that the lime is what kills the virus, so make sure you get a Corona and a lime. So, oh, that was a bad joke. I thought it was pretty funny, though. But I'm telling you, it's... Now, did you see what Geraldo said? How to test if you had the virus? Oh, my God, Geraldo Rivera. What a... I don't know if this man is a dweeb or what he is, but he said if you can hold your breath for 10 seconds, you don't have the virus. And I it went past laughing. I was actually in shock that a professional journalist, well, I use the term loosely when it comes to Geraldo Rivera, would say such a thing. However, this is the same man that got thrown out of the Middle East for broadcasting on national television a map of how the U.S. troops are going to go in and take a certain compound. Sat there and drew it on the ground and which way they're going to get in there and how they're going to do it. TV news cameras filming it. This is the same guy that told the enemy how they were going to be attacked. And he's on there saying, if you have the coronavirus, hold your breath for 10 seconds and see what happens from there. Yeah. So what are you going to do? All I know is stupidity. Even the news anchors are stupid. I don't know why they're so stupid and what they're doing. It's unbelievable. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. This thing is going to pass, and you're going to have all that toilet paper to deal with. I'm Russell Mays. My book is Fear Profits You Nothing on Amazon. Check it out. You take care now. Thanks for listening. Bye.